Okay. Here we are again. I got to level 20 yesterday. Here we are again. I got to level 20 yesterday. I'm a human warrior, and I'm enjoying the game a lot so far. The game's pretty damn fun so far. I joined a guild. The guild's great, and I'm excited to get in here and really show the world of Azeroth what I have to bring to the table today. My goal is to at least get to level 30 tonight. I don't know how much it slows down leveling as you get into higher levels, but I'm looking forward to figuring that out. And I think as we start getting into these higher levels, we're really going to start seeing whether or not, a new player should really be trying to play World of Warcraft in the state of the game that it is, and if they should be doing it in 2024. So let's just get right into it. Enter world. Okay. So I picked up from where I had left off from the previous stream. I started out at level 20, had some quests ahead of me, and what I really wanted to focus on today was whether or not at level 20 does the game start getting a little bit more difficult? Does it start becoming monotonous? Does it start becoming content that's not easily accessible to a newer player? And as I was leveling and moving through the first couple of levels after level 20, I didn't really feel that way. I felt like consistently the game proves that you do not have to have a whole bunch of knowledge, and you don't have to have a whole bunch of high skill or high ability to progress through the game. And you don't have to have necessarily a deeper understanding of every single thing that's going on around you to enjoy the game and feel like you're not inferior to other players while leveling up at these still pretty low levels. Gentlemen,
What's going on?
not much.
Hello.
We're hearing about the grand exploits of the one and only Kinky Muffin.
What would that be?
Okay, so
There
here's a
are none.
quick run. No, he lies. Here's a quick rundown. He's Australian, is part French, and is English, and he runs an illegal black marketing scam, and I love it.
One thing I wanted to touch on, I finally joined my guild's Discord, and I joined their VC where a handful of the guys that I had previously been playing with the day before were talking in chat, and now I finally got to put a voice to the name. And one thing I wanted to mention was the community inside of World of Warcraft seems to be a bit more of a positive and an active one. I believe back when Classic had initially launched, like the original World of Warcraft, using voice chat was a lot more common. Nowadays, in a lot of newer MMOs, you hardly ever hear people communicating by voice, and a lot of people kind of ignore each other. And it was kind of a breath of fresh air, to say the least, to join a call and then instantly start, having fun and joking around and interacting with people that you're actually playing with, because it makes it feel a little bit more immersive and makes you feel like you're actually part of something, which I feel like a lot of newer players that would want to try to play this game feel like they would have a hard time coming in contact with. But from firsthand experience, I can say that I was invited to a guild and instantly started talking with them and feeling like I was part of something and I wasn't just in this journey all by myself.
Because you're a warrior, and then just run away while you bleed.
Oh, that's a
Bleed some
big
more.
shark. That is a huge shark.
That is what she said.
You should go
I
fight
don't
it.
know.
I'm
right
not
now.
fighting that thing.
Close enough.
It's only level 20. I might be able to kill it. I don't know.
Oh, you can kill it for sure.
You think so?
Believe.
In Kata, you can kill everything.
Okay, I'm gonna kill it. Come here,
Even
gummies.
your
One thing I wanted to mention is that my lack of trust with the players that revolve around me in the World of Warcraft had slightly dropped right after this moment. He said, "Oh yeah, you can kill that thing, no problem. You got it." And maybe it was a skill issue, and maybe it wasn't. But obviously, I died and I got trolled. And I look at that as like a lighthearted thing amongst the community, like lighthearted fun. Haha, you believe me? You got killed. Rest in peace, Rip Bozo. I just thought it was kind of funny that that happened. I wanted to touch on a little bit because having moments like that within, especially an MMO, are detrimental to the fun that it is caused while playing the game.
It just increases your bag
Or-
slots. So
here,
all you're
come
doing
over
is
here.
changing out one bag and putting a bag with bigger bag slots in it.
I'm
You're
gonna
still gonna have all your stuff in it.
It's like a Russian nesting doll. Oh,
just
what do
click.
you?
Just click on this, okay?
Click.
When it pops.
Okay.
That's a good way of
Oh, where's that gonna take me?
good analogy.
Just Stormwind.
Can I come back? I guess I can fly back.
Yep.
So my guild leader found out that I was walking around with 5 to 8 slot bags and was very concerned for my well-being. To me, it felt natural that I only had a little bag space as I was a new player trying to do a fresh run with not a lot of resources, but he didn't want to stand by it, so he gave me a bunch of bags that have a lot of slots. And then he also told me that at level 20, I am able to get a horse. So he had actually lended me a bit of cash, and he took me over, and I got my first riding mount, and I was very excited to finally learn riding and be able to ride a mount because I love mount riding in games, and I find it to be pretty enjoyable. Big fish yesterday when they got fishing achievements. It's pretty cool. Okay, so I guess I got to talk to Katie Cox here.
You gotta talk to the person behind you too.
Okay, let's talk.
They train you. To
Oh,
ride 'em.
Darlene Cox. Okay, train. Giddy up. Getting a random Discord call. Fuck off.
There you
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then
Woohoo.
you can see the horses here,
Yeah, I see him.
and then you can talk to Katie and buy the one that you like. You
Uh,
can't buy the Swift ones yet because you gotta have 40 riding. So you get the choices of these 3 here.
okay. How do I increase riding? By riding?
Nope, you get it at level 40, and then you come back here and buy it again.
Okay. I would like to buy from you. Pinto bridle, brown horse bridle, chestnut mare bridle, black stallion bridle.
You want the ones that are 75 silver.
Yeah, I see. This is a hard choice. Let's get the black one. I want that one. Okay. I got a horse. Okay.
Okay, so it goes into your bag, and then you right-click it to learn it,
Okay. Okay, I learned.
and then if you press Shift P, it will open up your collections appearances thing, and then the bottom left it will say mount.
Okay.
You should see your horse there. You can drag that down to your
So in the midst of my discovery on how to get a horse, I got a horse and I decided to mount up on a drake. And to my guild member's surprise, he was kind of upset that I decided to get on the drake, even though he just walked me through on how to buy this horse. But I ended up getting on the horse anyway. I believe that drake just came with my purchase of the game. So I was pretty excited, got my horse, and I was going to start moving around the world a little bit faster instead of having to hoof it everywhere on foot. So I was pretty excited to get a horse, and I rode my horse into battle in the next 10 levels. Okay, use the tank.
nice. There you go.
Okay. So I gotta take the tank over there and wipe him out.
Damn. cleared my bank on my mage. My total on sale is 32,000.
Don't you love it when you roll 100 on something you need?
Best feeling in the world.
Certainly is, especially when the other guy rolls 3.
Mike is like, mic drop.
Fuck that guy, am I right?
Totally. Fuck him, fuck his family, fuck his
Let's
dog,
go.
etc.
Why his dog? What's up with you
If he
and-
has one.
What's up with you and the dogs?
So this was by far my most favorite part of the main story quest line, just jumping into a tank. Probably the last thing that I expected to see come out of this game was jumping in a tank with a fully automatic sentry gun on top, just taking out hordes and hordes of, well, hordes. And it was very fun to say the least. I had a great time. It was just very unexpected. And I just, going into the game, for how old the game was, and when this specific content was released, I didn't know that they went so far into detail and were able to even implement something like this into a game, and I thought it was really cool. And for a new player to the game, I feel like experiencing cool stuff like this really keeps you roped in and keeps you level-headed during the whole storyline, because it's nice to have a break from just constant, okay, go kill this and turn in a quest. This was a nice break from just the same monotonous tasks over and over again. Okay, I'm in the dungeon. These guys are probably like, oh no, we have a level 23 with us. Alright.
Oh, you're good.
I'm gonna follow this guy. He seems to know where he's going.
Yeah, just follow the tank and hit whatever he's hitting.
So, from a new player's perspective, I feel like figuring out things like the fact that there was a dungeon finder this whole time and I could have been leveling off of dungeons as well, it's not so obvious. And maybe it's explained to you somewhere in the tips, but I feel like a lot of people click through that because they don't want to read. And I think that's a pretty fair point, because I hate sitting there and reading. I want to be able to play a video game, not sit there and read a novel. I would say I'm very fortunate in this playthrough that I have a guild that's so willing and ready to help me. And I feel like if a new player were to join a guild or to not join a guild and they don't have that resource of players that have knowledge on stuff in the game, then they'd have a disadvantage versus other new players. And I feel like their experience of the game would not be to its fullest. So I feel like for new players, try to get involved into a guild that seems to be friendly and willing to help you. Otherwise, you may just never understand the game to its entirety, and you might have a very negative experience if you're not in a positive and helpful guild. So at this point, I am halfway through levels 20 to 30. I'm level 25, and I will say my experience so far has improved because now I am combining dungeon running and questing at the same time. And I feel like once a new player understands this way of playing the game, their ability to level up faster and ability to reach out to extra content in the game will improve, and they'll see an overall more positive outlook on the game, because you start doing dungeons and you get cool gear and you start getting other things that make the experience of the game better, because you start doing more damage, your abilities start feeling like they're doing things, and you should have more abilities by the time you get to level 25, and you start really feeling what the game's possible full potential can be. And as a new player, it's always nice to know that you're trending in an upward direction and you're not just staying stagnant. And I feel like with the upgrades in gear and the upgrades in abilities in this game, I feel like you get that feeling of progress a lot. And as a new player in a game, You want to feel those short little bits of success and celebration when you achieve something like getting a new cool battle axe in a game. It's just the little things that keep a new player interested and involved in their game. I feel like what really gets a new player to stay interested in a game would be the ability to play with other players online and be involved in a multiplayer atmosphere. And what I mean by that is working whether against or with players is very important, especially in an MMO. And I feel like with classic WoW, overall, even in random dungeon finder groups, you most times get people that are willing to help you learn and willing to help you beat whatever you're trying to beat. There was a couple cases where somebody would need roll on a gear that they didn't necessarily need and that I needed, but then they ended up getting it, and it was a little frustrating. And I feel like for a new player, you're like, okay, here's this piece of gear, and I really, really want it. I know that I need it, so you need it, and then your double-handed sword goes to the other warrior that is currently rocking sword and shield and is built tank spec, and you scratch your head and you're like, why do this to me? So I feel like as a new player, when something like that happens and you spend all this time trying to complete this dungeon that you've never done before, and you finally do it, and here's the loot and you need it, and now some person that doesn't even need the loot just took it. And I feel like that can be pretty off-putting for a brand new player in World of Warcraft. I'm not too sure how the looting works in retail WoW and dungeons, but it was kind of mildly frustrating to have this happen to me, and it happened to me twice in the same dungeon, and it was the same guy, and he took two very highly improved upon my current two-handed sword, and he just took it from me. And it's a little frustrating, and I feel like for new players that could cause some frustration and maybe even cause them to not want to play or stop playing for the night. So I feel like that's one of the negatives so far that I've experienced as a new player in World of Warcraft. After doing a bunch of quests and dungeon runnings, some successes, some failures, I had finally reached the cusp of hitting level 30. I think I needed to kill one more mob here in a second, then I'll hit it. But I will say levels 20 to 30 was a lot more time consuming than the first 20 levels. I streamed 6 hours, and it took me all of those 6 hours of constant playing to gain 10 levels. And that might be from my own, pace being slower, and I'm sure there's faster ways to reach level 30 from 20 than what I had done. But overall, I would say that I was pretty engaged and locked in, and I was having fun the entire time. I was having fun chatting with my guild mates and learning new things in the game, exploring new areas, completing all of the side quests that I can, and trying to experience the game into its entirety so that I'm giving this review, this playthrough for new players in WoW the most fair shake. I still have a good amount of levels to go before I hit max level, and I see all of the content that has been put out so far. And I would say I'm ready, and I'm still feeling good, and I would say the game overall so far has been pretty fun. In a lot of MMOs, I feel like the constant questing and dungeon running and everything else that comes with it starts to feel monotonous and boring and bland and just kind of sad after a while. But in WoW, I feel like they really do a great job of making the leveling in the game the main content of the game. So it doesn't feel like something that I just have to get through. It doesn't feel like something that I have to do. It's something that I want to do, and very rarely do I ever want to do questing. But since that's the main content of the game, and they did such a good job on even the side quests, making the quest fun, I enjoy it so far. And maybe my opinion of that'll change as I go through more and more levels, or say down the road I make another alt account and now I'm doing the same old quests again. But even in a new MMO, I get tired of doing the quests very fast, but I can't say the same for World of Warcraft. And I feel like for a new player coming into the game, experiencing the questing, and if they experience it the same way that I do, I feel like it could bring them to a general consensus that, hey, this game's pretty fun and I feel like I can be a part of this. It doesn't feel like what everybody says it is, and it's not impossible to get into the game and enjoy it just like anybody else does that's been playing it for 20 years or longer. So I'd say overall, my experience so far to level 30 has been a good one. Thank you guys for tuning in. I stream most days on Twitch, so I look forward to seeing you guys there, and I'm going to continue this series, see you in the next one.